Hello everyone. My name is Bhavya and I'm your Python trainer. Basically, I am from cybersecurity and artificial intelligence background. So, if there's any question you want to ask, then feel free to ask. Okay. So, before starting the session, if like Python is a programming language. So if there's any use cases like why are you learning Python or what is the specific use case or where you want to implement Python. If anything you want to tell, then you can just unmute yourself and you can tell your use case, like where you wanted to use Python. Because Python is a general purpose. We can use anywhere. So if there's any specific use case anyone wants to share, then they are like free to share. Okay. So now we can start the session. So before starting, guys, please ask here only, not on WhatsApp. Okay. Yeah. So what is Python? Python, as you can know, Python is a very basic and very popular programming language. Why basic? Because everyone knows about Python, right? So Python basically is a programming language. So here we can mention it is a kind of a programming language. And before discussing Python, let me discuss why programming language. Like, why are we learning the programming language? So, anyone like to answer? Why are we learning programming language? Like, what is the use case or what is the actual need of learning any programming language? Not just Python, any language. Okay. So basically, we are learning Python to interact with the machine, right? Because let's say we have user and user has various requirements. And then here we have machines. So how we can interact with the machine, how we can talk to machine. So that is why we have programming languages because machine can only understand binary languages, right? They can only understand binaries, which is zeros and ones. And we cannot talk in zeros and ones, right? We cannot talk in numbers. So that is why we need a certain language so that machine can understand whatever we want to provide the instructions. Okay, because we want machine to perform certain task and we cannot talk like in English or in Hindi or any other language. So that is why we have programming language mainly for interacting with the machine so that we can provide our instructions, our task to the machine, and machine can perform for us. And why we cannot do it by ourselves? Because machine are faster than us, right? Machines are they are like faster than us. So that is why we need machine. We need any programming language to interact with the machine. And with this, we have three types of programming languages. Okay, three types of languages. First, here we have high level language. Second, we have mid level, and then we have low level languages. Okay. So high level languages are the languages which are close to human language, which is English, close to human language. Now, close to human language means the language which humans can easily understand. Okay, that is why they are close to human language. Like, for example, Python. Python is a high level language. The source code of Python, the syntax of Python, the keywords of Python, they are all in English. Like, you can easily understand. Okay, that is why that is high level language. Then we have low level language, which is we have language which is close to machine language. Okay, which means binary. For example, assembly language. Okay, let me mention here assembly language. Now, assembly languages are the languages like they are like the combination of some symbols or binaries, especially numbers and symbols. So those are known as low-level languages, which is specifically close to machine language. Then we have mid-level language, which is like in middle of high level or low level, which is C or C++. Okay. So basically, Python is a high-level language. That is why Python is very easy to understand and even easier to learn. Okay. So that is like the main reason behind Python. That is why it is easy to understand and learn. Now, Python is a general purpose language. If we talk about features of Python, then Python is a general purpose language. And before that, Python is so popular. Now, why Python is so popular? Okay, because Python can be used anywhere. Like we can use Python in every domain, like in data science, in machine learning, in cybersecurity, and almost in every domain. So that is why Python is so popular. Okay. And because Python has many use cases, you can use Python anywhere, like in automation, in web development, in application development, like anywhere. Because Python is a general purpose language. Okay, why Python is so popular? Because it is a general purpose language. And why Python is a general purpose? General purpose means Python can be used anywhere in every domain. And why Python is a general purpose? Because Python is an open source language. Okay. And what is the meaning of open source? The languages where whose source code are available to the users. Okay, which means we can access the source code of Python, like official source code of Python. Okay, we can access official source code of Python. Also, we can contribute in Python language. Okay, contribute means we can contribute as a community in Python. We can create frameworks, we can create libraries in Python. So that is why we have many developers all over the world. They contributed in Python. That is why we have many libraries, many frameworks, which we can use in every domain. And that is why it is general purpose. Okay. So you can see the link. Python is so popular because it is general purpose. And why it is general purpose? Because it is open source. Okay. So open source is like a main reason behind Python. It's so popular and it is used like in almost every domain. Okay. Now, Python is also dynamic in nature. It is high level language. It is object oriented language, right? It is simple. It is versatile, etc. Like we have many features in Python. Okay. Now, we have two types of Python. We have Python 2 and we have Python 3. Now, what is the difference in Python 2 and Python 3? Like they are versions in Python. Python 2 is like a previous version and Python 3 is like a latest version. Okay. Now, what is the difference in Python 2 and Python 3? They're like a syntax difference. For example, in the Python 2, we use print. Let's say we want to print something, hello, like this. But in Python 3, we use print hello, like this one. Same as in Python second, we use raw input, let's say, for taking input from the user. In Python 3, we use simply input. In Python 2, we use X range. In Python 3, we use range. Like we have many differences in Python. Mainly, they are syntax difference. And also, like they are like some features and some libraries which can only be used in Python 3, not in Python second, and vice versa. Okay. So basically, we are going to use Python 3 only, which is very latest. And like every industry use Python 3 only. Now, then we have Python history, like who developed Python and what is like the irony behind Python name. So basically, Python was invented by Gideon Van Rossum in 1991. Okay, in Netherlands. So basically, the idea of Python is like Python is taken from another language, which is ABC language. Okay, and also there's like a irony behind Python name. Basically, the inventor of Python, he was like a fan of a popular BBC comedy show named Monty Python Flying Circus. So that is why he decided to pick the name from its favorite comedy show, okay, which is Monty's Python Flying Circus. That is why that is like we have this name Python. Okay, so where we can use Python, that is very important. Where we can use Python. So Python can be used in almost every domain, starting from the basic domain, which is web development. If you want to use Python in the web development, then you can use Django or Flask. See, before Python, we have two types of Python again. We have Python core and we have Python advanced. Python core is like Python core covers the basic of Python. Okay, like basic part of Python. For example, the data types, loops, conditionals, functions, etc. So Python core is for everyone. Okay, it is for everyone. Whenever you want to start with Python, you can start with the Python core. So it covers the entire basics of Python. Okay, like the fundamentals of Python. That is what Python core is. Then we have Python advanced. Now, Python advanced is something which is not for everyone, right? Python advanced depends on the user use case. For example, let's say now Python has many libraries, many frameworks, many libraries, and it is not possible for the user to learn all these libraries, and it is also a waste of time. So what we can do, we can start with the Python core and then understand your use case. For example, my use case is data science. I want to become a data scientist or whatever. Uh, so I want to use Python specifically in data science domain. So I will pick some libraries which are only used in data science. For example, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and so on, like scikit-learn and some other libraries. Or let's say my use case is ML or AI, then I will going to use TensorFlow, Keras, etc. Right? So basically, Python Advanced depends on a use case. Let's say I want to use in the cybersecurity domain, then I will going to use specific libraries, right? So that is why Python Advanced depends on a use case where you want to implement Python, in which domain you want to implement Python. Let's say if I want to use in data science, then why do I learn other libraries? Because my use cases is depends on these libraries. Okay, so Python Advanced totally depends on your use cases. Okay, so where we can use Python. So if you want to go in web, then you can use Django or Flask for developing Python web applications. Okay, if you want to create any GUI applications, then you can go into use Kinter. You can use Turtle. Like we have many libraries for GUI. Okay, Kinter is like famous. If you want to use in data science, ML, or then you can use NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, etc. If you want to use in the deep learning or AI, then you can use TensorFlow or Keras. If you want to use in NLP, which is natural language processing, then you can use NLTK, is a like Python library you can use. Okay. If you want to use in, let's say, automation, if you want to automate your regular stuff, Then you can use Selenium, web scraping, beautiful soup, etc. Okay, so we have many use cases of Python, and for every domain, we have specific library. Okay, if not, then you can create your own library. Okay, so that is why Python is so popular. We can use like anywhere. Okay, now we will discuss what we are going to cover in Python core. Okay, because Python advanced is for the use cases. It depends on a use case. Okay, so let me open the. Okay, so this is our Python core module. So first we will start with the Python introduction, like why Python, why programming language, which is what we are doing now, and advantages of Python, history of Python, and so on. Like how to install Python, how to install its IDE, etc. Okay, that is introduction, like basic introduction. Then we have Python fundamentals, where we will discuss Python tokens. Okay, like these are like very fundamental part of Python. Okay, Python keywords and Python identifiers, Python variables, input and output of Python. Then data handling, like these are all data types. Okay, like we have many data types in Python, like strings, numbers, float, integers, and list, tuples, dictionaries. So we will discuss Python data types. Okay, like what is mutable, what is immutable, how we can change data type, which is known as typecasting, and so on. Then string manipulation. String manipulation is known as string functions and methods. String is a data type, right? So what kind of functions and methods we can use with strings? That is known as string manipulations. So string manipulation is nothing. It is like the functions and methods which can be used in strings. Same as with the list, same as with tuples and dictionaries and set and frozen set. So these are the data types. And with each and every data type, we will discuss the functions and methods associated with data types. Okay. And we will go to discuss these in detail. Like we will cover the very most important functions and methods. Okay, that is in the tuples also, in the dictionaries, in the set and frozen set. Then we have operators. Same as in the Python, we have many operators like arithmetic operators, which is like plus, minus, multiplication sign, etc. Relational operator, logical operator, membership. So we have many operators in Python. Each have their use case and specific purpose. So we will discuss that, like where we can use which operator. Then we have control flow. In the control flow, we have two types of statement: conditionals, which is your if else, which is your decision making statement. And second, we have loops. So, or we can say iteration. In the loops, we will discuss for loop and while loop. Also, the nested statements and nested loops. Okay. And with each and every module, we will cover the questions. Okay, like practice questions and answers. After the statements, like conditionals and loops, we will discuss functions. So we have two types of functions in Python. We have built-in functions and we have user-defined function. So we will see both, like how we can create our own function and how we can use the pre-existing functions of Python. Okay, so here we have these functions. These are like pre-built, and then we will discuss how we can create a user-defined function, how we can create, how we can use recursion, how we can use lambda function, etc. Okay, and also the local and global variables. Then we have modules and packages, where we will discuss how we can create our own module, or we can say how we can create our own package or library, or even framework. That we will see. Okay, how we can create our own user-defined modules. Then we have file operations. Now this whole module is depend on your files, like how we can open the file in Python, how we can close any file, how we can make changes in a file, or how we can open any kind of file and perform any kind of operation. Okay, so basically we have files in our operating system. So how we can interact with our files with the help of Python? So that is file operations. So we will see how we can perform file operations with the help of Python. Then regular expressions, which are known as regex, they are mainly used in NLP, in the artificial intelligence. So regular expressions are mainly for finding a certain pattern in a whole paragraph, or in a whole book, or in a whole PDF. Okay, any piece of text. So it is all about finding a certain pattern in your paragraph. Okay. Then we have exceptional handling. It is all about handling your errors in Python. Let's say you are creating any application for your user, and your Python program is keep on throwing error, any like different errors. So how you can handle those errors? How as a developer you can handle those errors so that you can make the entire application user friendly? Okay, so that we will see how we can handle errors in Python, how we can create our own errors, how we can treat errors. Then at last we have classes and objects. Okay, that we will see. Now this is like basics of OOPS, starting of OOPS language. So in the classes and objects, we will see what are classes, what are objects, how we can create classes and objects, and so on. Okay, that are classes and objects. So here in the Python core, we will cover the entire Python fundamentals and Python basics. Okay, after covering Python core, you can decide your use cases, and then you can move to Python advanced. Your Python advanced depends on your use case. Okay, pick up your library and start learning that library. Okay. Mm. Any questions up to here? Any doubts or any query?
No,
Something
ma'am.
bothering you? Hello? I'm sorry, you are not audible. Can you please check your mic?
No, ma'am, no query till now.
Okay, okay. Any other? Okay. So now we can move to the softwares we are going to use in the entire Python core. So basically, we are going to use first Python. Okay, Python 3 basically, and then we will use IDE. And what is IDE? Which is Integrated Development Environment. That is known as IDE. Okay. So for the IDE, we can use VS Code, okay, or we can use Jupyter Notebook. Okay, like we have various IDE, we have Jupyter, we have VS Code, we have PyCharm, Sublime, etc. So if you are aware about Python or how to use Python, or if you are using any other IDE, then feel free to use your own IDE. Okay, but in our sessions, we are going to use VS Code. Okay, for the Python. Okay, now what are IDEs and why do we use IDEs? Okay, that I will show you in a bit. So now we can move to the installation process, how to install Python or how to download Python. Okay, so give me a second. Okay, so open your browser and here you can search for Python download. Okay, simple. Python download and click on your first URL, which is python.org. And here you have this button, which is download Python. So the latest version is Python 3.12.2. So you can click on download. And for the installation, um, see, once you download your Python, click on the installation, installer of Python, and the installation is very straightforward. Click on nest and install. But whenever you are installing Python, make sure you will have an option add to path. Okay, you will get this option add to path, which is like you have to take this option. So whenever you are installing Python, make sure to take this particular option, add to path. So basically we are adding Python to your environment variables. Okay, so after installing, make sure to take like while you are installing your Python, you will have this option. So take this option and click on nest and install. Okay, so this is how you can simply install Python. Then search for Visual Studio Code download. Okay, and click on this first URL, VS Code. Okay, let me share this URL in the chat. And here click on this Visual Studio for Windows. Or if you're using any other operator, like any other operating system, then you can use any like you can use any like operating system and you can click on any button here. Okay, so for the Windows, you can click on Windows. And again, install the VS Code. It is again very straightforward. Click on nest and install. After installing Python and VS Code, how we can verify that Python has been installed successfully? Okay, so for verifying, what we can do, we can open our CMD. Or what we can do, you can simply search Python. Okay, and when you see here, we have this Python ideal. You can open this one. Okay, and here you can search, you can write your source code. Or like, let's say we can write anything, print hello world. Okay, and here we have this output, print hello world. Or what we can do, we can open the CMD as a administrator. And here we can write Python. Okay. And here you can see the I have this Python 3.12.0. Okay, this version here, which means Python has successfully installed in all your operating system. So this is how you can verify. Then also we have to install the pip manager, pip Python package. So whenever you install Python, the pip Python package is pre-installed with Python. And what is pip? So basically pip is a Python package manager. Okay. Python pip means Python package manager, which is mainly used for installing or uninstalling a Python packages. Okay, so this is mainly used for installing and uninstalling your Python packages. Okay, for example, like in Python, we have many pre-existing or pre-built packages. But let's say if you want to install any other package, for example, NumPy, Pandas, any other package like of data science, of cybersecurity, of TensorFlow or Keras, then you can simply use pip Python package manager. And without pip, you cannot install any package. So that is why it is very important to verify that if Python pip package manager has been installed or not. So you can open your CMD again and use exit here and use pip-v. Okay. Now you can see here uh, pip, what we can use. Yeah, hyphen v here, sorry, capital. So pip hyphen capital V here. So this is my Python pip package version, which is 2.4.0. Okay, so make sure your Python as well as your Python package manager has been installed successfully. Okay, so this is how we can verify. Then we can open the VS Code after installing. Okay, so this is your logo of VS Code. So we can simply double click and we can open it. Okay, so whenever you open your VS Code, you will see this interface. So you can simply click on this cross here. Okay, welcome screen, you can click on cross here. Then with VS Code, you have to install certain extensions. Okay, So we will install certain extensions in the VS Code. So here you can click on this icon, extensions. Now search for the extension Python. Okay, search for Python and click on this first Python extension. This one, Why Microsoft, and click on install here. Okay, so this one is a first Python extension inside that VS Code. So first one is Python Why Microsoft. Second extension is, you can search here, VS Code icons. Okay, this one, VS Code icons. So you have to install this one also, VS Code icons. Okay, so let me copy this name. Second extension is VS Code icon. Third extension is prettier. So here you can simply search for prettier. Okay, this one. This will mainly you for formatting your source code. So you can install this prettier as well. Okay, and last, what else you can install? If you want to use any artificial intelligence, any AI in your like code, then you can simply install black box. Okay, black box AI. So what is the purpose of black box AI? So it is mainly for like this black box AI will understand your pattern, like how you code, and in the future this will help you in your coding. So it is a very wonderful extension. So you can install this black box AI. Okay, so you can install these four extensions in your VS Code. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of Python? Python in Microsoft is, for example, let me close this. Now you can click on this file here, this button, file, and click on new file. Okay, new file, second option. And click on this Python file. Again, second option. Now this is a Python file. Now let's say here I want to write something. Let's say print here. Okay. See, whenever I am writing PRI, so this Python, this VS Code is giving me the suggestion. Print, permission error, or whatever you want to write. So here I can select print here and this will auto-complete. So why are we having these suggestions here? Because of this Python extension. Basically, we are telling the the VS Code that we want to code in Python. So that is why we are installing Python extension. VS Code icon for putting some icon. For example, you can see here a little icon in before your file name. Okay, this icon. So this icon is because of this VS Code icon. Then we have prettier. Prettier is mainly for just formatting your code here. Okay, and then black box AI. This is for like helping you in your code. Okay, so this is optional. If you want to install, you can install. But black box AI will understand your coding pattern, like how you code, and then it will give you suggestion whatever you are going to write next. Okay, so these are important ones. You can install it inside of VS Code. Then after installing, you can simply reload your VS Code, close it, and open it again. Now, how to use VS Code? So let's say if you want to open any file, so you can simply click on file and click on new file and click on Python file. Okay, so this is for creating any file. Let's say here I want to write print hello here, hello world. Now how to save it? You can simply click like use Control S and you can save here. Let's say I want to save here hello one.py here and click on save. And now how to run this file? So here you can simply click on this button, run code here. Okay, so this is hello world. Okay, so this is one way of creating a file. Let's say you have any other file. Let's say this file, test101. Now, if you want to open this file, then you can drag this file on top of VS Code and you can open it. Okay, so this is second option. Third option is you can click on file and you can click on open file and you can select file you want to open. Let's say I want to open this file and click on open. Okay, so this is how you can open any file. Let's say if here I have this folder here. Let's say I'm creating a folder here, Python, or let's say code file, code underscore file. Okay. Now let's say I want to open this folder inside VS Code. So what we can do, we can simply drag your folder on top of VS Code. So this will open your folder inside VS Code. Okay, now you can see here this folder here, code file. Now here you can click on file, this option. This is for creating new file inside a folder. This is for creating new folder inside a folder. So here you can click on this file, new file, and name a file. Let's say test.py. Okay, so py.py is like an extension of Python. And here you can see your file has been created here. And if you want to open any folder inside VS Code, then simply click on file and open folder here. And you can choose your folder you want to open. Let's say code file and click on open folder. Okay, and you can start coding your inside your file. Okay, so Python VS Code is very easy to use and it is also very user friendly, interactive, colorful, effective. That is why we are using VS Code. And that is like the main purpose of using any IDE. IDE means integrated development environment. Because let me open Python IDE. If you search for Python, then we have this Python IDL. If you open this one, you can see this is very boring to code here. Basically, we can also write our code here. We can code anything, but it is like the interface of this Python shell is very boring. So that is why we use Python IDEs, which is VS Code, Jupyter, or Spider, or any other IDEs. Okay, because these IDs are very interactive. Okay, they will provide you some suggestion. It is very interactive to use, effective, and very like colorful. Okay, so that is why we use IDEs. Okay, now we can start. Now, any doubt here up to here? Any questions? If not, then we can start with the variables. Okay, in Python. Now, anyone can tell me what are variables? What are variables? So basically, variables are like Python container, or we can say just container. Okay, to store your values. For example, a equal 1. So here a is a variable and 1 is a value. Okay, so we can say we are assigning one value to a variable a. So a here is a variable. So variables are like a container which you can use to store your values. Okay, so 1 is a value here, and this one, this sign is known as assignment operator. Okay, basically what we are doing, we are assigning one value to variable a with the help of this assignment operator. Okay, so here we can mention we are assigning value 1 to variable a, okay, which is like name of my variable, which is a here, with the help of assignment operator. Okay, so this is the meaning of this particular line. We are assigning value a, which is 1, sorry, value 1 to a variable a. So variable they are just a container which can hold your values. Okay. So while naming any variable, we have certain rules that are known as naming conventions. Okay. What are naming conventions? Naming conventions means rules for naming your variables. Okay. Now, how we can name our variable? For example, I want to name this one, name my variable. For example, let's say I want to store name. So I can use name equal, let's say John. Okay, any name. Or I want to store the last name. So I can store any last name. Okay. So we have certain naming conventions. Naming conventions mean how we can going to name our variables. So we have certain rules here. Okay, like you cannot name anything to your variable. So first rule is your variable should start, or we can write here any alphabet. Okay, so first rule is a variable name must start with the alphabet, whether it is uppercase or lowercase, but not numbers. Okay, like we cannot use numbers. For example, let's say name. Name is a variable here. Okay, where it is storing a value name. Okay, so name is a variable which is starting from n. N is alphabet. And here we can also use capital N. Okay, that doesn't matter. So name, here we can start our variable name with alphabet, but not number. For example, one name. So this is invalid. Okay, this one is invalid variable name. Okay, so this is a first rule. Second is we can use numbers in the middle of variable name at last of. So we can use numbers in the middle of or at last of variable name. For example, number one equal any number. Okay, so here we can use number in variable name, but in the middle or at last, but not in the starting. That is your rule. We can use num 23 bar equal 3. Okay, so here we can use any number, but in the middle of your variable name. Third rule is special characters are not allowed. Okay, we can write special characters are not allowed. For example, we can write except underscore. Okay. For example, we have this variable name, or let's say first underscore name equal your name here. Okay. So this is, we can use like underscore here. Okay. Like we cannot use any special character. Like these are the special characters. So we cannot use any special character except underscore. Also, we cannot use spaces. Like we cannot use like first space name. This is invalid. Okay. So in place of space, you can use underscore. So special characters are not allowed. Special characters and space are not allowed except underscore. So we can use underscore. Okay. Fourth, keywords. Uh, so we cannot use special keywords as variable name. Now, what are special keywords? Special keywords are like certain keywords which have special meaning to a Python interpreter. For example, this one. We have this print here. Okay, print is like a function in Python which is used for printing something. If I run this code here, you will notice hello world has been printed here. Okay, so print is a special keyword here. So we cannot use this print as a variable name. Okay. We cannot use special keywords like print. Okay. For example, we have print, we have is, we have in, we have not in, we have for loop, or we have while loop. Okay. We have if, else, or any other statement. So basically, we cannot use special keywords as a variable name. Okay, now how do you know that this one is a special keyword and this one is not a special keyword? Then that you will know with practice. Okay, or with whenever we will see some special keywords, then I will provide you a list of keywords which are like special for Python that we cannot use as a uh, variable name. Okay, and also fifth point is that is not important, but always name your variable, or we can say as per the value. For example, you are storing number in your variable. So you can use num1 equal any number, num2 equal 13. If you are storing any age, then you can use age equal 18 or 19. Okay. For example, you are storing name, then you can use name equal uh John. Okay. Let's say you are storing score. So score equal 99. So always name your variable as per your value. Okay. For example, you are storing the age here, age, and you are naming your variable a equal any age. Let's say 25. Okay. So 25 is a age, but you are naming your variable a here. So this means here we are saying now this is valid. These variable names are valid here, but if anyone is like reading your code here, let's say I'm reading your code, so now I don't know what is this 25 is. It can be a age also, it can be a number also, it can be a score also. I don't know. So always name your variable as per your value. Okay. Like your variable name should be a meaningful name. Okay. That is why it is important. Well, it is not mandatory, but you can use it. Okay. It is like a tip you can use. Always name your variable as per your value. Okay. Like always provide a meaningful name to your variable. Okay. Rest. Um, yeah. One more thing here. Variable names are case sensitive. Okay. So variable names are case sensitive, which means uppercase and lowercase are different here. For example, a equal 12 and this a equal 12. These are different variable names. We have this one a. Basically, for the humans, for us, they are same. This a and this a, they are same. But for the machine, these are different, which means we have two variable here, a first variable and second uppercase second variable. So Python names are this Python itself is a case sensitive language, or variable names are case sensitive. So this a and this a, they are different because of the binaries actually. Okay, like for example, a for a we have different binary, and for the A, for this A, we have different binary. Okay. And machine can only understand binaries. So that is why we have different binaries for different characters, whether it is uppercase or lowercase. So that is why these are different. As you can see, this number and this number, these are different from each other because of in binaries. But for us, A and A are different, sorry, same, but for the machine, they are different. So that is why Python variables are case sensitive. Okay, so make sure to use the lowercase or uppercase as per your choice, but remember whatever you are using. Okay. Any questions up to here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay. So these are like naming conventions in Python. So now let's see some example. So let's say I have this variable name equal John. So this one is a valid variable name. If I use here, let's say one name, now you can see this is invalid. As you can see a red line under this variable, which means this is an invalid variable name. If I run this code, you will notice a syntax error, which is invalid decimal literal, which is an invalid variable name. But what we can do, we can use this one after or in the middle of variable name, like here, name one. This we can use. Okay, or we can use in the middle of any variable name, like this one. So this one is valid. Okay, then here we can use a equal 10 here, you can see, and this a equal 11. Okay, let's say apple is a variable name, and this apple is also a variable name. If I run this one, print this apple, your variable name, and another apple. So they store the different values because of they are like case sensitive. They are different variables. Okay, so we have different values 11 and 10 for both variables. Okay, then again, we cannot use special characters like this one. For example, name, like this one, name. So this one is not allowed. So this is a special character. So special characters are not allowed. Also, first space name. This one is also not allowed. Okay. If I run this, you will notice a syntax error, invalid syntax. Okay, because Python is thinking that first is a variable name and second name is also a variable. So here we have two variables, first and name. And here we have one value, John. So Python is like now confused which one is like which where we have to assign this John value into first or into name. So that is why we can use here underscore. First underscore name. Now this is a one complete variable name. And here you can see we don't have any error. Okay. So this is how we can, even you cannot use any special character is equal 99. So this will throw an error. Is a special keyword here. Okay, in Python. If you run this, you can notice name, this one is not defined. Which one? Which means, sorry, invalid syntax. Okay. So is also a special keyword in Python. So we cannot use special keyword as a variable name. Okay. So always make sure whenever you are using variable name, make sure you follow these particular rules. Then we can perform some operations in Python. Let's say we have this name equal John, or let me mention my name. Okay. And let's say we have this last underscore name. Okay. Now what we can do, we can print first name, sorry, name plus last name, like this. Okay. So if I run this one, you can notice we have this name here. But here you can notice we don't have space between my names, first name and last name. Okay, we have this here name, and then here we have my last name. But here I don't have the space. So what we can do, we can add space. So for adding space, either I can add space here after my first name, okay, like this one. Here we have a space, or we can add a space before my last name, like this. Okay. Or what we can do, we can add space here. Like if you perform this one, if you add space here, this is invalid. Okay. So this has no effects. So what we can do, we have to add space. Add means we have to use a plus sign here. And inside quotations, we have to add space here. Let's say one space. Okay, one space. So now you can see we have one space here. So whenever you want to add space, you have to add inside quotations only. Okay, let's say I'm adding multiple spaces here. So you can see we have multiple spaces here. Okay, like this one. So you can only add space inside your quotations, not here. Okay, you can add as many space as you want, but this will show you no effects. Okay. Now here we are adding two strings together. Okay, this is one string and this is second string. Now what are strings? Okay, like what are strings? So strings are like a data type in Python. Okay, so which is like any character enclosed inside, yeah, any character enclosed inside single, double, or triple quotation are known as strings. Okay, for example, you can see here this one character, which is my name. Okay, here this is my name, and this is enclosed inside double quotation. These are known as double quotations. Okay, now this is a string here. Same as this one is also a string. So any group of character or any character which is enclosed inside quotations are known as strings. Okay, for example, let's say we have this a equal 1. Now here 1 is a number. It is a number for us. Okay, but for Python it is a character. It is a string. Okay, same as we have b equal. We can use any character, any special character inside your like we can use any number of character or spaces inside quotations. Okay, that are allowed. So these are known as strings. So any character, any number, any special character or any alphabet, whichever is close inside single quotation, which means these are single quotation. Let's say this one. And we have triple quotation, which is this one. So any character which are enclosed inside double quotation, single quotation or triple quotations are known as strings. Strings are the data type in Python. Okay, because let's say you want to write something, so you cannot write as it is. This will throw an error. Okay, you cannot write as it is. So that is why we always use, if we want to mention any statement, any character, any, we want to print something, we use quotations here. Okay, so now these are strings. And now you can see we are adding strings together. Name is a variable which is storing my name. Last name is a variable which is storing my last name. And now I am adding these strings. And this process is known as concatenation. Okay, concatenation is a process where we are adding two strings together. Okay, this process is known as concatenation. For example, let's say we have this another variable, num1 equal 12, num second equal 34. And now here we have print num1 plus num second. Now you can see 12 is a number here. Okay, without quotation, it is a number. 34 is a number here. And now this process is known as adding, simple adding here. Okay, we are adding number 1 and number 2 together. So this is adding, but this one is not adding. This is concatenation. Basically, we are using the same sign here, plus plus, but we are using signs on different data type. That is why we have a different name here, concatenation for strings, for adding the strings. And if you want to add number, that process is known as simple adding. Okay, so this is like a difference in concatenation and adding here. So strings are like any character which is enclosed inside single, double or triple quotations. Then we have another data type which is numbers. Inside numbers, we have further subparts. First, we have integer, then we have float, and then we have complex numbers. Integer numbers, for example, any number. Okay. Float, any decimal numbers. Okay. And then complex number, which is like a combination of your numbers and your character. For example, 1 plus 2g. Okay, so this one is a complex number. So let me show you here. We can remove this. Let's say we have this number a equal, let's say num1 equal 12 here. Num second equal, let's say 12.34. Num3 equal, let's say 1 plus 2j. So this one, num1 is an integer here, num2 is a float, and num3 is a complex. Now, how do we know that? So you can simply use print type of, okay, here you can use type function and your name of your variable, name here. Okay, if you run this one, so here we are printing type of your name. Name is a string here. Okay, name is a variable which is storing a string. So if you run this one, you will see this is a class string. String is str is short for string. Okay, str short for string. Same as integer short for int here. Float is float, complex is complex. So here you can see a class string here. Same as we can copy this and we can print here. Now we can check for the last underscore name. If you run, so these are all strings. So name is a string, last name is a string. Same as we can check for the num1, num2, and num3. So here you can use num underscore 1, sorry 1. Print type of num second and print type of num 3, which is a number 3. If you run this one, you will notice number second, which is number first, is an integer, okay, which is a 12 value. Number second, which is a num second, is your float, and num 3 is a complex number. Okay. Now here we are not talking about variables. Variable are variable only, but this type function will show you what kind of value or what kind of value you are storing inside your variable, and that are known as data types. Data types are like the kind of value, kind of data you are storing inside a variable. That is known as data type. So name is a variable. This one is a data type string. Same as num1 is a variable here, and 12 is a value of integer type. Okay, of integer data type. Okay. So this is how we can check for any data type, like what kind of values we are storing inside any variable with the help of this type function. Then we have another data type which is known as Boolean. Boolean, short for bool. Inside Boolean, we have two values only. We have true value and we have false value. Okay, two values. So if I use here, let's say bool underscore 1 equal true here. And let's say bool second equal false. Okay, now if you check type of your print, type of your bool 1, same as print type of your bool second. Okay, so if you see, these are Boolean values. Boolean values only have two values, true and false. And that should be also, true should be uppercase. Okay, and same as F should be in uppercase. If you are using T here in small case, so this will throw an error. Okay, because this is how you recognize any Boolean value. If the capital letter of, if T is in capital letter, then it is only a Boolean. If T is in a small case, then this one is not a Boolean value. So make sure whenever you want to use any Boolean value, that should always start from caps. Okay. So here, if I run this, you will see we have this error here. Name true is not defined. What do you mean? Which is true here. Okay, which is a Boolean value. True here. Okay, so make sure whenever you are using Boolean, the T should be capital and F should be in caps here. Then we can say those are known as Boolean values. And Boolean values are very helpful in the operations, okay, that we will see in the later sessions. Now, any doubt up to here? Any questions? Apart from these data types like integers, float, complex, or we can say numbers, boolean, strings, we have further data types. We have we have list, we have tuples, we have other data types. Okay, that we will see in the later sessions. Then we have arithmetic operator. Okay, so in the arithmetic operators, we have certain operator like plus, minus, multiply, divide here. Okay, modulus here, and this one exponential. Okay, so let's see. Let's say we have this number one and number second as a variable name. Okay, let's say number one we have 4 or 5, and number second we have second. Now we can perform certain operations with the help of arithmetic operator. Okay, so if I use print here, let's say addition, so I can use num1 plus num second. Okay, where num1 and num second, these are known as operands, and plus is a operator here. Okay, plus is an operator, and num1 and num2 are operands. Okay, on which operation has been performed. Same as we can use print num1 minus num second. Okay, same as we can start with the do with the multiplication num second. Print num1 divide num second. Then print num1 num second. Then print num1 modulus num second. Then print last num1 exponential num second. So these are all arithmetic operators. So now let me show you the output. So num1 plus num2, we have this. Now these are familiar. Plus, minus, and this multiplication. So let me show you the result. So here you can see, first we have this addition here. So we have 7, 5 plus 2. We have this minus here, multiplication. Now here we have this divide sign. Now we have to divide here. This divide sign is known as float division. Okay, which is single slash here. And this one is known as integer division. Now you will notice with the float division, we are having output 2.5. Okay, because it will provide you decimal value. Then we have integer division. With the integer division, we have only one value, which is 2 only. So integer division only give you first value, okay, without decimal. And now you can see zero point 0.5 is now removed from the integer division. Okay, so float division, which is of single slash, and double slash means integer division. So we always use float division because float division will provide you exact value, okay, like accurate value. Integer division eats up your value after point. Okay. Then we have modulus. Modulus, which means here, this is known as modulus, and this will provide you, give the remainder part of your division. For example, if you divide 2 by 5, sorry, 5 by 2, then you will have 1, okay, as a remainder, because 2 into 2 4, 5 minus 4 1. So modulus will provide you the remainder part of any division. Okay, so this will return the remainder part. Then we have exponential. Exponential will provide you, which means power of. Okay, which means 5 power of 2. 5 into 5, 25. Okay, so that is power of. Okay, so these are some common arithmetic operators we mainly use. Okay, even we can use, now let me show you. We have one more concept here of comments. Now, what are comments? So, comments are a statement which is like totally ignored by your Python interpreter. For example, we have these keywords here. Okay, now these are known as comments. Okay, so comments are mainly used for making the notes. If you want to put anything before your code, then you can use comment. So comments are anything which is like ignore by your Python interpreter. For example, now this one is a total comment. And how we can comment? So we have single line comment, which we can use using hash here. Okay. Then we have multi-line comment, which we can use here for we can use triple quotation for the comments. Okay. And here we can comment whatever we want to comment, like this one. Sorry. Yeah, we can use this side. So this is multi-line comment, and these are single line comments. Okay, and we have a shortcut for commenting. Let's say if you want to comment this line, then you can select, and this is only applicable in the VS Code. And you can press Control plus forward slash. Okay, so this is for comment, and this is for uncomment. Same shortcut for comment and uncomment. So here Control plus forward slash. Comment and comment and comment, like this one. Okay, same as you can select this entire code and comment. So these are comment. Now if you run this one, so now these are all ignored by your Python interpreter. If you run this one, you can see the output. Sorry, if you see, we don't have the output of this one because these are all comment now. Okay, so now comments are anything which is like ignored by your Python interpreter. Because let's say you want to write something. Let's say I want to write print is used for printing something, or we can say displaying something. Okay, if you write like this one, so you will get an error. Okay, which is invalid syntax because you cannot write anything in Python like this one. Okay, so that is why we use comments. If we want to write something, we want to make a note of something, then we can use comment here. So comment are very helpful. While you will code, you can just mention, like if you want to mention what is the purpose of this line, what is the purpose of this function, then you can use comment here. Okay, which is ignored by your Python interpreter and which is very helpful for the humans. Okay, so now these are known as arithmetic operators, which are very common, and these are known as comments. So let me uncomment this file here. Okay. So any questions up to here? Like any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So rest we will continue in the next session. Okay, we can wrap the session here. And what you can do all, you can just install your Python and your VS Code and practice this particular like code here. Okay, I will provide this notes file. Okay, and this file also in your WhatsApp group. Okay, also this recording session. Okay, so rest we will continue in the next session. In the next session, we will start with the Python fundamentals. Yes, Akansha.
Yeah, just one quick question that do you recommend any good book also that we can purchase to read side by side?
Basically for Python, for even for the Python core, you don't need any book. Okay, like reading book especially for Python, even for Python core is useless because I will provide you the notes. Okay, after each and every module, after each and every session, which are like enough, which are like way more enough. So you don't need any book for Python core. Still, if you want to go through for any book, then you can choose your domain. For example, you want book for cybersecurity in Python. Then we have this book, which is like you can search for Black Hat Python. Okay, we have this book here, Black Hat Python. So this is for especially for cybersecurity. So you can choose your domain and you can start studying that book. Okay, don't go for any book for Python core. If you want to go, you can go for the Python documentation. Okay, for example, you can see documentation here. can go to the documentation for Python. You can click on this Python docs here. So this is like Python documentation. You can select your version. Let's say 3.12 is stable here. And you can click on this tutorial. And here we have this entire Python documentation. Like what are tokens, how we can write first program, numbers, data types, statements, loops, etc. Okay. So you don't need any Python book for Python core especially.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
The shortcut for commenting, we have this shortcut. Let me mention here. You can use control plus / this one. So let's say if I want to uncomment this line, so select and press control / comment this. Now this is uncomment. Same for the commenting. Comment, uncomment, like this one. Okay, so you can use this particular shortcut. Okay, any other questions?
Madam, like all are once come one time they have all our course will be come to one time in command. Like before you section start that all hashes will come one time.
Sorry, can you explain it? Like whatever you are asking.
The hash the code is hash remove the hash time, ma'am.
Mhm.
Every line will be hash there, ma'am. Hash there. The command hash.
Yes, yes. So these are like single line comments.
Yes. We have to select all. Select all.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
no command. They have all select. So how to come one time?
No. Let's say if you want to comment one line, then you can
Yes, ma'am.
comment. You can
They have
select.
print numbers. We have no the command.
Yeah. So here you can select control plus / like this
Yes,
one.
is it okay, madam? If we are select all number 1, 2, 3 and total
Like
total
this
and
one.
all like this, like that.
Then you can again press control /. Now these are all commented. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So I will share this file in the group as well as this recorded session. Okay. And some other notes. Okay, and rest we will continue in the next session. And in the next session, we will start with the Python fundamentals. Okay. So thank you so much for attending the session and see you then. Okay. And I will provide you the update for the next session in the group also. Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you, ma'am.